What's good enough for you is good enough for me. It's good enough. It's good enough for me. Yeah. Good afternoon, cadets. It's Lance here from Cinematic Galaxy, and I'm here to review the 80s classic, The Goonies. This film was released in 1985. In that prime time of 80s childhood and nostalgia for a lot of people, you see Stranger Things that's really building off of that right now. Sean Astin, who plays Mikey, the main character in this film, is actually a recurring character in season 2 of Stranger Things, which I still have to start. But anyway, The Goonies. That was actually what prompted me to want to watch it, because it was my first time seeing the film in full, in its entirety. I had seen bits and pieces on television past 10 years or so, but had never finished it. And Stranger Things Season 1, which I loved, made me want to watch The Goonies. So I did. I got the Blu-ray bargain bin Walmart. And anyway, just to preface, it's basically just an adventure. Pirates and kids riding bicycles and, older brothers that bully younger brothers. I mean, it's just it's an 80s film. It's one of those childhood movies. I was born in 1993, so I did not grow up in the 80s and I didn't have that kind of nostalgia for it. So my perspective is from someone who is not nostalgic for the Goonies, at least not in the strictest sense of the word. Now, it's directed by Richard Donner, who did two of my favorite movies of all time and some of my favorite superhero films, Superman 1978 and Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. And it's executively produced by Steven Spielberg. Obviously, he did a similar childhood classic film in E.T., and then the screenplay is actually written by Chris Columbus, who did the first two Home Alone films, as well as the first two Harry Potter movies, those of which are childhood classics for me. I'm extremely nostalgic for Harry Potter's 1 and 2. So anyway, what did I think of The Goonies? I really thoroughly enjoyed this film. I thought it was a lot of fun. It definitely put me in the mindset of being a kid. It kind of, took me to a time when kids went outside more and used their imaginations, went on adventures, stuff like that. So I absolutely love that aspect of this movie. And what's funny about it is that a lot of the child stars, or a few of them in this film, they're recognizable as adults. Because obviously Sean Astin, we know him later for Rudy, and especially as Samwise Gamgee in Lord of the Rings, my favorite character. And then you also have Josh Brolin as his older brother, Brand, who is Thanos in the MCU, which is crazy. You really would never put the two of them together. But, yep, that's the same guy. And then you have Martha Plimpton. She's popped up in roles, here and there in recent years, so it's funny seeing her young. Jonathan K. Kwan, a.k.a. Short Round from Temple of Doom. You've got, Corey Feldman as well. And I recognized, what's that actor? The actor, I know him from The Matrix. He was an adult in this film. I recognized him too. So anyway, I really enjoyed this film. Is it dated? It is. I mean, it definitely is, and not in the sense of like E.T. E.T., even though it's very much an 80s childhood classic, it feels timeless. It really doesn't have a datedness to it, whereas come on, I was singing a Cyndi Lauper song at the beginning of the film. That is the main theme of the movie. Yes, The Goonies is dated, but that is part of the charm. I've got to be honest. Even as somebody who did not grow up in the 80s, who was not even alive in the 80s, I wasn't even an apple in my daddy's eye. It was still kind of, endearing, and it put me in that nostalgic mindset for sure. So I get it. I really do get it. And I wanted to add that, yeah, all the kids were great. I did really like the subplot of Mikey and his family. They were losing their house, so that gave me the adventure was kind of like an escape from that, an escape from reality. And I thought that made the movie a lot better than it otherwise would have been. So that was a nice surprise. And I noticed Andy. I remember the girl, Andy. Mikey has a crush on her, but he's his oldest brother's girlfriend. I remember seeing the movie years back and thinking she was really cute. And now I kind of partially know why. She reminds me a lot of Emma Watson from the Harry Potter films, or I should say vice versa. And I had a huge crush on Emma Watson growing up watching Harry Potter, so I just found that funny. Overall, I'd give the Goonies a good, solid 7.5 out of 10. I don't think it's a great movie in and of itself, but it definitely is a classic, and you can see why. And it is a very good film. And I did enjoy watching it, and I would definitely watch it again. So, anyway, what are your thoughts on the Goonies? Did you grow up with it, or did you see it later like myself? Thanks as always for watching, guys, and this is Lance from Cinematic Galaxy, signing off.